Hello, welcome back, people. We got the Ricky Gervais Show, Season 1, Episode 13, Freaks. We are back on track with this show, and, Freaks, it's Carl's favorite thing, so you know this is gonna be good. This is gonna be entertaining. So let's just watch. I skipped over the intro and stuff, because it's always the same. But I was told it's not the same in the next seasons. Let's just go. Let's do this.
Questions for Carl, just to sort of try and tap into his brain, see what's going on there.
Yeah.
The questionnaire that is often featured at the end of the TV programme Inside the Actor's Studio. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Is that how it works?
Oh.
No,
what do you mean? What's the question?
Well, I don't know. Do you hear so many other things that you have to go through other gates? I can't imagine him being on the door, is what I'm saying. If he owns a place, what's he doing there? He could put anyone on it.
It's St. Peter, isn't it, who's normally minding the gates, famously.
Right, so it's him asking me.
OK, well, let's say it's St. Peter.
No. You go through the gate. Peter goes, oh, you're expected. He's got an appointment. We're going through to God. Go through a few doors. Go up top floor. Right, past the executive washroom into his big office. Okay, that overlooks the universe.
So what?
So you've gone in to see God. It's an audience with God. You've died. You've gone to heaven. And what would you like God to say to you at that point?
Probably just say, you've done well and that in your life. You never did anybody any harm. So, welcome to heaven. Any problems, give us a shout. Here's a little layout of like a little map. It's kind of like...
I love this. This is a great answer. And my favourite one is you never did anyone any harm. That's great. That's a brilliant thing for God to say.
Yeah.
So hang on, he's giving you a little map.
So he's giving you a little map of the area.
It's big. He'll sort of say, this is where you go for this is where you go for that. I'd probably ask him about the ghost situation. I'd say, am I now a ghost then? Or is this just like another planet that I've come onto?
Oh, right. God's big.
I don't know if he'd answer that. I don't know if he'd be sort of a bit...
Bit cagey.
Yeah. A little bit like, well, I don't want to panic you and stuff. I'd say, right, is it right that I can see past family and that? Because, to be honest, I'd probably prefer to stay away.
Then why are you asking?
He doesn't even want to.
No, but because the thing is, if you've done
amazing.
I've done all that in this life, so it's about moving on to another life and meeting different people, isn't it?
Yeah.
Otherwise, what's the point? It's just like the same all over again, but everywhere's white. I mean, I don't know if it is like
this. Do you think God would like this podcast?
Well, I suppose it just kills half an hour, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, but time's not a problem for him, is it?
Yeah, it is, because he lives for ages, so he needs loads of filler. I bet he's, doing stuff that he's just like, I'm not really into this, but it's something to do, isn't it?
Sudoku and stuff.
But I think there'll be just as many problems up there as there is here, because at least people are leaving here, whereas up there, that's the thing that I'd be worried about the most, actually, that it's really crowded. Because it's years and years of dead people, isn't it? London does me head in. Up there, it's going to be well busier than that.
Right.
What about teenagers? And do you feel that life was better in, say, the 1950s?
I don't know, I wasn't around. So
but you understand what it was like in those days? You've seen Happy Days.
I don't know, people always say, don't they? Old people always say, it's a better life in the 50s. And it's like, yeah, it was for them. Of course it was for them. They're old now. Being old isn't great, is it? So you're just happy with your lot. I suppose I was happier starting about...
Wait,
isn't great,
gotta read the license plate.
So you're just happy with your lot.
I don't know what it says, if anything.
I suppose I was happier starting about 1984.
Right. Specific year.
Why? Why was that?
It's just I was free and happy.
How old were you?
I don't know. 22...
He's just counting on his fingers now.
12.
Right, okay.
And it was just good.
So the happiest days of your life were between the age of 12 and 13?
Yeah, it was good. I had the world ahead of me.
Little did you know your hair was going to fall out and you were going to whinge every minute of the day.
I had my bike. I like messing about my bike. You had your mates. I had a pet magpie.
So you were probably the teenager that you eventually hate?
Pet magpie.
Probably.
Were you a good lad, law-abiding?
I wasn't bad. I just sort of, just potted about. I mean, when people talk about what was on the telly back then, I don't have that much memory of it because I was always out. I was always playing out.
What were you doing when you were out?
Just playing about, just like on a bike or...
Just riding in a circle endlessly through blizzards,
I loved it.
rain, sleet, hail.
Yeah.
I never seemed to be in. I was always... When everyone always goes, where were you when Band-Aid was happening? I was always out on my bike. And everything was
like... you and McGregor?
A memory's always sort of like coming in for some orange and looking at the telly and seeing Princess Diana's getting married, and my mum says, have you seen this? And I'm going, oh, I'm going out on my bike. I was always doing that. The only time I was in the house...
This is why you don't know anything, because you never stopped.
Yeah, but this is what being a kid's about.
But
That's
all
what I
the
mean, being
information
free.
you have, Carl, is as though you've gleaned it as you raced by on a bike. It's almost like, you know, every piece of information you have.
Your hair blowing in the wind. Carl, your hair will blow out one day. Oh, don't talk stupid, ma'am.
Was easy. So, yeah, 12 to 13 was good.
But you see...
And it was all downhill from then, was it?
13, you're a teenager then, aren't you? Life got tough.
Yeah. How did it get tough?
Just straight away when I was 13, my mum was like, you know, oh, it's your 13th birthday, you're a teenager now.
Right.
And she gave us a quid to go and get a cake to celebrate it. Went to the supermarket, got a cake, and I just thought, I don't like the look of this. Don't like the look of the way the future is here.
On his 13th birthday!
You were buying a cake. What did you see at the supermarket?
It was kind of like, I don't know, I suddenly felt grown up. And I didn't like it.
But I think you were always about 58, really, with your outlook.
Well, yeah, my mum always said I was old. She said I was an old baby. She said I could frown before I could walk. So they always had a bit of a worry look on my face. Didn't say much, just always listened. My eyes moved about more than I did. Just sat there looking around, looking stressed.
My eyes moved about more than I did. Oh dear, couldn't walk. Well, I can't walk, but I'll try and get a bit of movement in my face. It's a workout, a baby workout. Oh, babies, well, if you can't walk, what about your face? Let your face do the walking.
It sounds like that horror film. It sounds like Pilkington's Baby.
Yeah.
Just you lying there in your cot.
I didn't like all the stuff that's set up for you. Like, my mum tried to send me to, like, a nursery. I said, no, I'm not having this.
Just like that.
I said when I'm older and I've got to go, I'll go, but let's leave out this bit. And she said, all right. She was...
I love the fact he could reason with her. I love him. He's 3 years old with a pipe. She's going, you're going to nursery. She goes, I think not, Mum.
I mean, kids don't play out, do they? Kids, you know, parents are scared to let the kids play out, and that's why the streets are dangerous now, because no one's playing out on the streets. Whereas when I was a kid, everyone was out on the streets. The streets were safer because there was more people knocking about.
Right.
I think it's kind of backwards, though. I think parents don't want their kids out on the street now because it's less safe than before. Like, right? I always hear in Argentina, like, my parents always say, oh, before, you know, you could, as kids, you can play on the street. Nobody ever locked their doors or this and that. And, yeah, no, you can't even go to the shop to buy milk and you might get stabbed or, you know, shot to death. Different times, but I think the correlation goes the other way, if that's the word.
Let the kids play out.
It must be like a constant, like a Larry painting, his front garden. Do you know what I mean? Just loads of people just walking around.
There was never any problems. I was sort of taken away by some fella.
What?
Whoa.
No, I was playing about in the garden.
Yeah.
But my dad's mate Tony, he did tiling with him. He drove past. And he saw me looking a bit fed up, so he just leant over, picked me up, took me to the pub. Now, the thing is, there wasn't panic. People weren't going, oh, God, where's Carl gone?
He's out.
Nobody cared.
How old were you?
He's down the pub. He's 4 years old, yeah. Well, he's only having a...
He's down the pub with Tony, probably playing darts.
Yeah, I was about 3 or 4.
Sorry, so some bloke drives by who happens to be a friend of your dad's, thinks that baby looks grumpy.
Yeah.
I'm taking him down to the pub.
That's what it was
Tony,
like.
you bringing a baby to the pub? Yeah, I might do, yeah, we're all bringing ours. All right, see you later, mate.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Whereas now they go, the baby's gone. There's a big full-on panic going on.
Yeah, but I think it says more about your parents that they didn't do that. They looked at the back garden and you were gone. Some bloke's driving off in a van. They're just going, oh, well.
They rode down the pub.
Doesn't Princess Diana look lovely? This is absurd. So what happened when you got down the pub?
I just was there for a bit, and then...
For a bit, just had a game of pool.
Then my dad came in. It was like, oh, there you are.
Oh, there you are! I love that! Where's my baby? I'm just going to have a quick pint. Oh, there you are. All right, mate.
So, yeah, I think things were better back then.
Of course. That
Well,
was
it's
the
that
topic.
time again.
It's Carl's diary.
Oh, what's he written today?
told Suzanne that I had read that we will have spoken to aliens by the year 2025. Ricky once told me that if a lion could speak English, it still couldn't have a good chat with us because its life is different to ours. If that's true, we've got no chance with an alien. I'd be worried that an alien could read my mind. I had that problem once years ago, when I worked in a studio making cassettes. Some mind-reading woman was having some cassettes made. She waited while I did them. She had a small dog. I knew she was trying to read my mind, so I just thought about the dog. I thought that would confuse her, because she wouldn't understand why I was thinking about her dog.
That's amazing.
So, firstly, how did you know she was a mind-reading woman?
Everybody who came in having cassettes done, you'd find out about what the job is. So, you know, if it's a band or whatever, it might be a police station needing blank cassettes to interview people.
Yeah.
And she had them to sort of use during a thing where they do mind reading and stuff. So
Right.
you get a
recording
of it.
Yep.
And she was just there and she was staring at me like that, just looking over. And a dog was sort of looking worried, and they pick up vibes, don't they?
No.
They do.
And why were they looking? I'm not being funny. Were they looking at the roundness of your head? Do you think?
Oh,
Dude,
just
dogs pick up vibes. Okay, dogs know when things are about to go down. Dogs know who to trust, who not to trust. Dogs know. They get vibes, definitely.
looking at me now. They do.
And why was
Were they looking? I'm not being funny. Were they looking at the roundness of your head? Do you
They
think?
were just looking at me, and I was sort of panicking a bit. And the more that I was thinking she's reading my mind, I was thinking she knows that I know that she's reading my mind. So I just stopped thinking about her reading my mind. Thought about the dog
What were you thinking about the dog?
running about on the beach.
On the beach.
He remembers what he was thinking.
No, just so she thought, oh, hang on a minute, it's not his mind, it's the dog's mind I'm picking up.
Oh, so you thought she'd go? Oh no, I'm getting all tangled up. I've got a cross line here.
Right.
I met up with my mate Laurie. He said he was in a pub at the weekend and saw a bloke whose hands were on the wrong arms.
No! What do you mean?
Well, he had his left hand on his right arm and the right hand on the left arm. I don't think this would be a problem if he's been like that from an early age. When I was in Ripley's in LA, I saw a bloke whose head was on back to front.
That's more annoying, isn't it, than your hands?
More annoying.
Isn't it?
Now then, would you walk? How would you walk? Would you be walking backwards, Carl, so that you could walk? So you're basically walking forwards.
I reckon I'd walk sideways so nobody would sort of tell the difference. It just looked like...
Oh God! He solved it again.
Got home and read the magazine. There was a story about a baby that was born that looked like a frog. What magazine's this?
That made the news. That was in a proper newspaper in the end.
It didn't really have a neck or top half of its head. It would look all right if it always wore a scarf and a hat. The world would be a more interesting place if there were loads of different types of humans like there are creatures. Then some people would be good at certain jobs. Spider people, ant people, builders, cockroach people, dustbin men.
Good idea, isn't it?
I mean,
Cockroach men, spider men, what are you talking about?
Look at some insects, right?
Yeah.
They don't have machinery, yet they're getting by, aren't they? They have their lives like we do. They get up, they wander about, they collect food, they tidy up, they fix stuff, they make their own house. We can't do any of that. So what I'm saying is, why aren't we using them? Why are these cockroaches with all these powers and stuff going about?
It's all these
But
powers.
how could we use them? How could we harness
I just
them?
told you, dustbin men.
I just
or,
told
or
you.
whatever that.
No,
What do
you
you mean?
said that if they were also men, if they were cockroach men, we could use them.
You've left a big bit out, but when that 1-inch cockroach becomes a 6-foot bloke wearing a jacket.
It's just that we always use insects for like a bit of fun. You see flea circuses and all that, which is all very well, but I don't think it's getting the most out of them.
What's a flea circus?
Woke up at 9:55 a.m.
I like it.
As soon as I woke up,
Just ignored and just continued. Okay.
woke up at 9:55 a.m. As soon as I woke up, I looked at Suzanne and she looked at me. I said, "Did I tell you about the immune system?" Suzanne started laughing. I said, "It's amazing." She said, "Not now." Springing into action, he zips up, his eyes are like... Did I tell you about the immune system? Oh, shut up, Carl. Put the kettle on.
Oh God! Oh fucking hell!
Well, I wanted to learn about the immune system.
Carl, let's give him a list. Top 5 something. What are you interested in? Are you interested in news, sport, TV, cars, movies, style?
I mean, I'm into weird stuff, but it seems a bit tight to stick them in a list.
What, like what?
Well, like, sort of freaky people and that. I've got that freak book. But I don't know if they'd be happy if I called one of them and said, good news, you're at number 1 because you've got 4 legs or whatever. I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, then this is the Carl Pilkington top 5 freaks in at number 5.
Probably something not too good at number 5, but it's still interesting. Lighthouse Man.
Who's that?
Lighthouse Man?
What's Lighthouse Man?
It's a fella with a hole in his head. And he, what he does, rather than moan about it, sticks a candle in it.
Shut up. What are you talking about?
Sticks a candle in it.
What are you talking about? Where is the hole?
I bet he didn't call himself Lighthouse Man, did he?
Well, I don't know. It's just what he got nicknamed. Because he had this hole. Doctors were like, there's nothing we can do. Can't fill it. Thought, what can I do with it? And it was of the days when there was no electric and that. You had to walk about with a candle. So hang on a minute.
Okay, I can have both
got a
hands
little
for
candle
you.
holder here. Stuck a candle in it, and he just got nicknamed the Lighthouse Man. So again, it's not that amazing, but I like the way he was sort of energy efficient.
So was it in his forehead?
No, on the very top of his head.
That's perfect. You don't want it in the forehead, Steve. You'd have to walk back with
That'd
your
be
neck
ridiculous.
crick.
So he was like a kind of human jack-o'-lantern.
Well, he's a Lighthouse Man. What, Steve, what
Sorry, mate, yeah, I
better
forgot
description
about
do you
that.
need than the Lighthouse Man?
So yeah,
Right.
he's probably at number 5.
Wow, that's at number 5, Steve.
Number 4.
What about Pig-Faced Woman of Manchester Square?
Again, you're getting what it says in the tin there, aren't you?
Right.
And it's just this woman who had a face like a pig. And the rumour was
Yeah.
that it wasn't a woman. Someone said it was a pet bear and they'd shaved it. That's what that's what
Was
I've
this
heard
someone? Was this someone you saw? Or
No,
that you
no,
just read about?
this is going back.
This is years ago.
This is years and years ago.
Yeah.
When there was loads of like weird looking people. I mean, the fact that it's Pig-Faced Woman of Manchester Square
Yeah.
says that there might have been one in.
Piccadilly Circus.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
So there was
Every
a lot
county
more
had
of them
one.
knocking about back then.
Let's assume that it was a woman, and the first one, the Lighthouse fellow, he's a human. Do you think people would object because of their disfigurement, deformity, a bit like being called freaks? Do you think?
Well, it gave them a purpose back then. See, if you were a freak years ago, there was work for you. You'd have these circus things. Now, if you've got a funny head, you're on the dole.
Number 3?
What about Elephant Man?
Right.
Stick him at number 3. He's
Number 3.
He's surely the most famous freak ever to have lived, isn't he?
he's the one who
I
got
like
me
how
into
they.
it.
They're like, well, I'm sure they would like to be called freak, you know, and it's just like, all right, he's a famous freak. Like, dude, make up your mind.
Right. Yeah, sure. He's a sort of entry-level freak.
Yeah.
A gateway freak.
Everyone is aware of him.
If the Elephant Man still existed, right, and you got the opportunity to meet him, and you walked in, a couple of questions. 1, what would your first reaction be? And 2, what would you say to him? What would your first question be?
How would I react? Well, I've sort of seen him enough now that it wouldn't shock me. So I don't even think I'd flinch.
Okay.
I mean, like I said, when I first saw you, that was a bit weird. But now, look, I can look at you. I don't double take or anything. What would I say
Wait,
to
is
him?
that because he's tall though, or is that like a jab at something else? Because okay, first of all, I have 3 cats, and one of my cats she's extremely tiny. She's an adult. She's 11 years old, but she's like extremely tiny. She's the smallest adult cat I've ever met or I've ever seen anywhere. And I have 2 other ones that are normal size, so she's like half the bigger one's size. So she's really small. She's the one that I've had a couple videos with and stuff, but she's very, very small. Like, a lot of people think she's a baby because she didn't look old. But I've had her now for like 9 to 10 years, 9 years. And every freaking day I wake up and I see her just sitting like on the couch or on the floor or whatever, looking up at me. And I'm like, oh my God, you're so tiny. Like, I cannot get over it. It still shocks me every day. Sometimes you'll just see her sitting next to like a random object, just like anything. And she's so much smaller than like small objects. Today she was sitting next to just like a roll of paper towels, and she was so much smaller, and it's just so cute. And I like every day, I swear, it shocks me. I take pictures of her every day because I cannot believe how small she is. And then on the other side of that spectrum, my boyfriend Nessa has a friend that is, I think he's 2 meters 10 centimeters tall. I don't know how much that is in inches. I don't remember, but he's about like 7 feet tall, something like that. Like, the guy is freaking gigantic. And I've met him several times. Oh, he's the sweetest guy ever. He's really nice. He's a really cool guy. I've seen him a bunch of times, but it's just as shocking every time, dude. It's amazing. Like, you just seeing him sitting down, his legs like never stop. The guy is ginormous. And I usually see him outside, outdoors and stuff. One time, no, well, more than once, but one time he came to my house and he has to like duck through all the like doors and everything. Everything is small for him. And just like, I have never felt my house feel so small. He was like taking up the whole house. And I am tiny. So he's 210 or 212 or around there. Let's just say 210 because I don't properly remember, but I know it's not less. And I am 161. So there's a lot of difference there. And it's just everybody, even just all, they have this group of friends and they're all pretty tall, right? I'm obviously tiny and they're all pretty tall. And like even the taller ones have to look at the guy like this. And it's the same shock every time. Nobody makes a big fuss out of it. But even them, they've known him for years. And when he leaves, it's like, oh my God, he's so tall. Like it's one of those things you can't get over. So that's like, is he talking about the height or is it something else wrong with Steven's face? Is it like the glasses he wears or the blonde hair? Like what is, because I don't know, man. Maybe it's just me, but like everybody's always shocked about how tall he is and about how tiny my kitty is. So like, I don't know. Maybe Carl's just special because he kind of, got over it or whatever. So, yeah. I'd probably say, where do you get that at to fit you? You always had that on. Where do you get that from?
That sort of flat cap that he's got.
Yeah, that one, didn't he? So yeah, I'd have him. So he's at number 3.
Right. Okay.
Elephant Man number 3. I can't wait for 2 and 1. Right. Okay. Number 2.
I know what my number 1 is. It's just number 2 now. I don't know his name, but there's a fella knocking about. Well, I don't think he's around anymore. But he had like a normal body. Looking at him, you'd go, "What's up with him? He's not a freak." Takes his undies off. He's got 2 knobs.
That's number 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, he doesn't know where to start. Do you think he uses them alternately, like have a wee out of this one, have a wee out of that one, or does he just like spread the load so he's weeing out of both?
I don't think he knows.
What do you mean he
it's sort
doesn't
of
know?
like a lucky
He
dip.
knows?
When he goes to a urinal, he can have a little bet with himself. He's just like, I don't know what's going to happen.
Dude, sometimes the pronunciation of words on the show just baffle me. Like, we had the sloth and stuff. Urinal. A urinal? Urinal? But I feel like Carl says stuff weird because I don't feel like I've ever heard. Like, I've been watching nonstop British stuff and just UK comedies and this and that, and I've never heard urinal before. Like, and I love how the other two don't even like flinch at the way he pronounces stuff. So it's just
when he goes to a urinal, he can have a little bet with himself. He's just like, I don't know what's going to happen here.
Weird.
So do you reckon he holds them both out?
Definitely.
So he takes his trousers down because I mean, he
can't use a Y front.
Right.
Need more like a W front.
Yeah. So he pops his pecs down there.
I don't think it's that much of a problem. It's not like.
Wow. I don't know.
I'd prefer that than Elephant Man's head.
Well, of course you would.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
What if you had Elephant Man's knob?
Yeah, but it didn't work like that, did it? That's the thing. They said he had the body of an elephant, but that's the only thing that wasn't of an elephant standard. His knob was normal. Whereas with this fella, it's the other way around. Everything normal. Take the pants off. Oh, well, what's going on here?
But why would you ever take his pants off?
No, I wouldn't. I'm just saying if...
But why, I don't know why you'd be in a situation with this man with 2 knobs standing there with his pants on and you go pop your pants off. You're not a doctor.
No, I say if I'm waiting in a cubicle and he's there.
For what?
Sorry, you're waiting in the cubicle and he comes in?
I'm waiting to have a wee at a cubicle. He's taking 2 urinals up and going, hang on, you don't need them both, do you? He goes, well, actually,
and
have a look at this.
Right.
He's got 2 knobs.
See, I didn't see him at 2 urinals. I saw him at 1, maybe them pointing inwards.
If you had that and say the first time that you met Suzanne, would you mention that straight up?
Would you say, right, before this goes any further, I've got something to show you?
Well, tell me exactly what you would say.
Whoa, he was a
Before
teen
this
when
goes
he
any
met
further, I've got something to show
Suzanne.
you.
He had hair and
Well,
everything.
tell me exactly what you would say.
You had normal head then, didn't you?
I had the same head, yeah.
Yeah, but it had like hair coming out of it, didn't it? And sort of like...
Yeah, but she also had a smaller arse back then as well, so I think we've both been dumb.
Anyway, we need to get to number one.
Okay.
Yeah, number one.
Okay,
It's Pillow Man.
Oh, yeah.
Pillow Man. Okay, now explain for those that don't know who he was.
He's a fella with no arms and legs, just a head and a little body. Nickname Pillow Man.
Well, why is he your favourite?
Just because he's amazing. Just the way he just got...
Wait, because all the others I don't really have to or want to look up at all. But this one's different. I've never heard of Pillow Man. What even is this? Google, please do me a favor. Google Pillow Man right now. It's just a bunch of idiots with a bunch of pillows duct taped everywhere like Halloween costumes. Just nothing useful. Okay. There is one picture. It's on Reddit and it says Ricky Gervais show. Okay, got it. I just wanted an image of what we were talking about because never seen that.
Got on with his life. He used to just a head and a little body.
That was
nickname Pillow Man.
pretty much.
Well, why is
the
he your
image.
favourite?
Just because he's amazing. Just the way he just got on with his life. He used to light a cig, just using his lips and his tongue and that.
Oh, I've
And
seen
not
this.
Not fully lit. He'd buy Roll Your Own.
Yeah, it's in the film Freaks, isn't it?
Yeah.
And he
He had a
rolls
shave
it.
as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
How did he have
Do you
a
think
shave?
he used to do it? He used to get it in his mouth, and I don't know.
Jesus.
It's amazing. Did he have a knob?
I think he did because he had some kids.
What?
Yeah, he had kids. He was
think
an
he
all right looking
did.
fella. He wasn't odd looking. It's just that
sorry?
he looked like Samuel L. Jackson. Imagine him with no arms and legs.
Right, that's odd though, isn't it? Really?
It's weird, but you've got to give it to him. You know, I mean, he's there rolling his own. He's pretty cool looking.
I just want to say to people, it's no. You say it looks cool, to, with no arms and no legs to smoke, but don't forget that smoking can stunt your growth.
Yeah, but yeah, remember he was on like this circus freak show thing with like a bearded woman,
Yeah.
right? Which isn't really a freak, is it? She could have had a shave. Have a shave, you're not a freak anymore.
Yeah.
A bearded woman compared to a fella who's got no arms and legs. A bearded woman, get out. But there was like a fella with no bottom half to his body, called Johnny Eck was his name. So when you're knocking about with that crowd, you're gonna get a bit. You're gonna get a bit. So yeah, he had kids and they were all normal kids. They had all the limbs.
Did his
and
wife
everything.
had arms and legs?
Never saw his wife.
Never saw his wife.
I think
He was probably ashamed of her. She was a bit of a freak.
for someone like him, you'd think he'd just give up, wouldn't you? You think, forget it. What sort of life is it?
Yeah.
I'm like a Mexican jumping bean. It's not worth living.
There it is.
But he just got on with it.
There it is.
I mean, to have a shave, I don't even bother having a shave some days.
No. Nor did the bearded lady. Lazy fucking bitch.
So that's why I've put him at my number one position. It's just amazing, isn't it? The human, how whatever you dealt, some people just get on with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Pillow Man, or Draft Excluder, as I prefer to call him.
I have a comment, but it's a mean one. I'm sorry for this in advance. But first of all, he said it's admirable that, some humans, the hands are dealt with. And, well, okay, that was unintentional. But the cards they're dealt, let's say. And it's admirable how they just kind of move on and stuff. First of all, I want to say, sure, admirable, of course, but... like, what other option do they have? Like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, there's no other option. Like, it's like when people are saying, oh my God, being blind or deaf must be absolutely horrible. And it's, if you're born that way, it's just you deal with it. You like if you don't know what you're missing out on, that's life to you, and that's fine. And I mean, like the human condition is just always survive no matter what. So whatever you're dealt with, it's just go on and move forward, and just continue. And that wasn't the mean part. The mean part may reside in if he didn't want to move on. I don't think there's anything he could have done about it. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna leave it there. If you know what I mean, cool. If you don't, you're a pure soul, and we'll just leave it at that.
There you go. Oh.
There you go.
Now, me and Steve are a couple of big shots. We do this for a laugh, but this is Carl Pilkington's only source of income. This is what you do now, isn't it?
This is my full-time job, yeah.
What do you think of that?
It depresses me.
Why?
This isn't what I ever wanted. Because I haven't got a purpose, have I? I'm sat here talking about the pillow man. If it weren't for him, I'd have nothing to say. It just depresses me. That I just wish I had a job where I felt like I was needed.
Is this how an idiot abroad was born after this
it's not
conversation?
A proper job.
We need you. We need you for money for old rope.
Yeah. I know, but this isn't. I wanted something that when you die and that, it's you get up to the gates, whatever, and they say, "What have you done?" And then I'm looking worried, thinking, "Is the pillow man about?"
Oh my god! What an idiot! Oh boy. I feel like that conversation heavily influenced the idea and his acceptance of an idiot abroad. Just, actually doing something different. It's weird to think that this was his full-time job for a while, but whatever. Anyway, this is always fun. I'm thinking, because they talked a lot about, how freaks isn't the proper word and it's offensive and this and that. I'm thinking of an alternative. Is there a less offensive way to say it? Is there a proper word? Like people with abnormalities? Is there like a term for that? Like people get offended about everything nowadays, so it's hard to say stuff. The other day I was talking to my nephew. He's about 5 and we were talking about words and stuff. And in school they gave him a very long list of words that he cannot say anymore because it's offensive, and couldn't say, that someone was fat because that's offensive. He couldn't say someone was skinny because that was offensive. Couldn't say descriptive words. Couldn't say someone, I don't even know if tall or short, the words that were just normal to describe someone. You can't say someone's blonde. It was just a ridiculous list of things you can't say. And that all came about because somebody called S.S. skinny because he's a very skinny person. And it's like, no, you can't say that. The kid, his little, flashlight turned on, his little light bulb turned on and said, you can't say that. In school, they taught me you couldn't say that. And he gave the list of words, and it was all obviously ridiculous nowadays. And but what bothered me, and I was like, okay, you can't say those things. What are the words you can say? So, and there wasn't a list of words. There wasn't a list of acceptable words, whatever that means. So it bothers me because they're teaching people you can't say this, you can't say that, you can't say, but there's never the word you can. It should be, if I can't say this, give me a synonym that I can use. If I'm not allowed to say someone is skinny, what word can I use? Can I say they are thin? Can I say they are not, overweight? Can I say they are not, you know what I mean? Give me an alternative. Otherwise, people can't talk. So I'm a bit bothered that they touched on the subject. You can't say freaks, that's offensive. And yes, freaks is especially nowadays, it's kind of like a heavy word or whatever. But is there a word that describes or better, fits that isn't offensive? Anyway, just thoughts and questions. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, guys. Thank you for watching. This, I can't wait for the second season, because this, like, the last few episodes of this one were just kind of, like, very snips and bits of bizarre conversations and stuff. Out of season 1, if this was the end of season 1, all-time favorite, I don't remember what episode it was, but all-time favorite episode and all-time favorite scene was when Carl was talking about that he liked to wash up, you know, wash the dishes and stuff, because he had the window and he saw the neighbor getting naked and stuff. That was just, like, the best. I don't think I've laughed more on this show than about that scene. That was just brilliant. Also, stuff like, there's classic stuff like me as a worm. That kind of stuff is just amazing. This guy is fabulous. So you get the right topics out, and it's very entertaining. Anyway, guys, whatever you're off to do, have a great one. Thank you so much for everything, for all the support, and for all the, you know, just everything. I don't know. Is there a synonym for support? Just, I don't know, help? I don't know. Anyway, I appreciate it. It goes a long way. It's much appreciated. You guys are absolutely awesome, and toodles. I'll be around.